So I've had a very interesting experience. I'm going to talk about it more later, but I just had, yeah, I just missed my train and the next one's cancelled, so I thought I'd sit in the park and just wait for a bit. But I Sophie's had a new kid and she's got a new partner, and okay, my first thought, I guess, was who would get pregnant, who would have a child with someone who's just come out of some sort of mother baby unit and has lost custody of her child, hence proof that they can't, have a child. Who would get someone like that pregnant? And this guy got her pregnant within like 2-3 weeks, and therefore I guess my view of him, I remained open-minded, but I guess it wasn't amazing, because it's like my sisters really could not look after kids. She caused me so much stress with the other child. I wanted her to have it until the child was born, and I realized that she can't look after it, um, and and that caused me so much stress, because it's like, how can these people exist? And then I tried my hardest to get custody, but it felt like the decision had already been made by the social services. They had been looking at Sophie for the last couple of months, and they saw this child as theirs. They were like a bunch of seagulls that saw this child as theirs, and they knew that they could make a ton of money from this child with all the solicitors and all the meetings, daily meetings, meetings with solicitors, and there's a whole team of people. The child's father killed himself, and Sophie is autistic. She's not very bright as well, and she's just, yeah, not she lacks emotion, lacks compassion, even though she would say the opposite. It's not there. And I think social services saw that. I saw that too, but it stressed me out, hence why I didn't want to be with her. But I was hoping that when the child was born, I'll do this test. They did the test a week before the child was born. They failed me based on absolutely nothing, based on bullshit, based on lies, just anything they could say to try and base it. They saw the child as theirs, and they came to my house not to help me, not to assess me, but rather just to pretend that they were helping. And I felt completely lied to, and I feel completely betrayed by them. And so my view of social services is absolutely disgusting, not because of what Sophie was, but because what they did to me. And it's just very frustrating that I failed, but they managed to get 50,000 grand from the government because for Sophie to be put in this unit, a systems unit. My mom said that she was put in there to fail, when in truth she was just going to fail either way, and they were just trying to make money out of her. They made a huge amount of money from this care unit, this mother baby unit, where she was going to fail. I mean, she was doing quite well, but the thing is, by looking after a child, it's not just doing well for a few hours, it's not just doing well for a few days. You can't just do well if you're being monitored and watched. The second you are on your own with the child, that is what matters. And I knew within the first few days of seeing Sophie, she didn't see me as a assessor. She saw me as a sister. And what I saw was someone that had, sometimes was really, really good, and sometimes it was really bad. And, what I saw within the first few days, I knew she was going to fail, because there's no way she could be alone with a child. And it almost felt to me like social services knew that, and they were just trying to milk the situation, take advantage of the situation, pretend that my mum isn't as mad as she actually is, so that they can try and get her to go through, days and days of assessments and tests. Even though my mum's batty, she was 100% going to fail that. My sister was 100% going to fail this test. I mean, even though she did well, and she put a lot of sleepless nights. There was monitors to make sure she did do the feeds and stuff. But I think at the end of the day, it's her lack of compassion, my dad has the same thing. He never helped raise us, he never helped do anything. My mom did everything, and my dad was just, popped in every now and then and provided the money. That's pretty much all he did. And my sister is I guess taken after him, and is similar to him. Matrix joins children with parents that are similar. I think my mum and dad are very, very different, hence any child could end up there. I've got these parents because I was a K woman in my past life a very, very long time ago, and the Matrix has assessed what I was like as a K woman and has given me really shitty parents based on my life when I had absolutely no life or opportunities, and so I've ended up with these parents. My my sister though would have got these parents because she's the way she is and stuff. So she was going to fail that and stuff. I knew that, but I feel like with this situation, it's just so different. Why? Because Marco's amazing. You know, he's a really, really good dad. And throughout the whole time I was here, I kept getting visions. You know, David Guetta with. There's a picture on Instagram he posted last week where he's just got a baby on him, and you know, you could tell that he absolutely loves that kid, and he's a really good father and stuff. And every time I was looking at Marco, I was just seeing an image of that, and I was just like, you know, I know I can feel the love, I can feel the passion, I can feel the devotion. He will never leave that child alone with Sophie because he knows that Sophie can be great one day. I mean, he might leave the child alone with her for 15 minutes. If Sophie's interested, she will be interested and she'll be good. It's only, you know, if you're there for hours, if she's held with a child alone for hours, there will be times where she'll just lose interest, and therefore Marco knows this, and Marco would not leave the child. Marco would not put the child in danger. You know, I know that, and so this whole experience has been very, very frustrating because I know my sister's shit, and she has no right being around a child. But Marco is really, really good, and it's almost like the social workers know that Sophie's bad, and they're trying to place all Sophie's problems on him in a way by saying that because they're a couple, you know, they're a family, not calling them two individuals, one with not much skill and one with great skill and you know, great ability to be a mom. I think he's got a very mothering nature, and you know, they're different, but the same. My sister likes to copy people. She likes to find someone and be like that person, and so I feel like she can be like him, and they can be a good match. You know, like me and Jason are very different when it comes to our ability to look after kids. But we're actually quite similar because we both like drinking, we both like having fun, we both are a bit of party people. He though probably can't really, he's not good with kids because of his party nature, and I have the same party nature, hence why I like him. But at the same time, I also you know, if someone would assume because he's a bad dad I would be a bad mom too, I really, really hate them, and I feel like that's the position that he's in. You know, he wanted to have this kid because he actually wanted to have this kid, and you can sense it. And all the meetings that they're having, none of them are doing a personal profile on what he is like. You know, he would not leave, he would not put that child in danger, and I know that, and I don't feel like they're saying this in whatever discussions they have. I don't feel like they're talking about his abilities to do things. They're just talking about Sophie's lack of ability, and then placing Sophie's lack of ability on the family and how it's going to affect the family, rather than thinking that actually these are two people with similarities in ways, but also differences when it comes to parenting. But he's really good, and you know, I think it's completely fair to place, you know, the responsibility on him. But I also feel like he's good at multitasking. He's good at being a parent, and so I'm frustrated about this whole situation because they're not recognizing that. It's like they've got an amazing father and an amazing, really shitty mom, but he is like a mom, and it's almost like sexism. Because he's a male, they're putting him in the category of males, and males tend to be not mothering. Males tend to not have that mothering nature, and he really does, and they're just categorizing him as the father. The mother is shit, and the father is a father. So they're putting them in the wrong categories, rather than seeing the sort of feminine nature of this guy and his mothering ability, and Sophie's lack of ability, but also his extreme caring for the child in sense of not wanting. And they did in the meeting. They told him and my mom, you know, that's what they told me, that they put the suggestion in the seed of mind that they think that he is leaving the child alone with her, and I don't think that's the case. And I think they're just playing on people's fears of what might happen. And I thought it was very, very sad how they were taking the fear of people and placing on him, when I just don't think he's like that. And I could tell in 10 minutes that he was a good dad just by seeing him pick up the child, just feeling the energy and stuff. And then to just think that he's gone through so much hassle of daily meetings, lots of online chats, meetings of solicitors, and then having them say we have a meeting at this time, and then having to cancel the solicitors meeting, only to find out that they ended up not showing up at the meeting, only to have a woman show up who seems nice. You know, she seems nice, but she also seems like she's someone who has to obey a certain order and a certain protocol, and this protocol I feel like is being decided by people that are stupid, because there's so much bad karma that you can get from a job like this. And so if you've been in a social working skill, if you've been a social worker for a long time, I feel like you must have a complete inability to recognize that you might be gaining karma from all this bad negative energy that you're causing families. You're causing families to go through stress and hassle, and you're building up a negative karma. Now, I think if you're a good person, you'll want to get out of social services because you don't want to, you want to find the sharks. But if you're in a sea and you're swimming around, you want to catch the sharks and the bad parents, but you're not actually always around sharks. Often you're around dolphins and fish and just people that are harmless, but maybe just struggling in certain ways. And you have to say, and you have to almost treat everyone like a shark, even though that's not the case. But because the people above, the people that are staying in social service, you have to look to the people above, and the people above are the people that are in the social services for a long time. And if you're in a social service for a long time, I feel like it's because you don't recognize the karma, that the negative energy that you're causing on all these families that are probably quite good. And therefore the people at the top are actually stupid. They're not in touch with the pain that they're causing families. Last time was different. My sister doesn't have that emotion. You won't get karma from that because she doesn't have that emotion. But with Marco, I felt you did, and that, so this has raised up a whole nother body of problems. One where you're affecting good parents. You're taking bad qualities of bad parents and trying to put it on good parents just because you know a bad parent and they're going to have a kid with a good parent, and now you're placing that problem on the good parent, and you're treating them like the same even though they're not, and you're receiving lots of bad karma. Now a good person is going to want to get out of social services and isn't going to want to stay working in this environment because of all the bad karma they're going to receive. But a bad social services person, they're going to stay in social services because they're so detached from all the negative energy that they're receiving, and because they're detached from it, they're stupid, and they're not realizing, and they're creating bad protocols and putting fear that this person could be a shark, and therefore you must go every single day for the next 6 weeks, even though you just need to have a 5-minute conversation with Marco to realize that he's an amazing parent, and you don't need to visit every single, you don't need to do what you're doing to him. And I feel stressed, not over Sophie, she's not good, sorry, but Marco is good, and it's just it's another problem. And I hate the fact that this has happened, but I like the fact that I have an experience of what I can say.